Welcome, everybody, to the PodAskew Podcast. I am CJ, and with me always is my hetero life mate. I think that's Rico. I don't recognize the face staring back at me, so that might be Rico. Rico?
Yeah!
I guess that's him.
Now, if everyone's changed their shorts, yes, that is definitely me. I shaved. I just want you all to know that it's definitely me, even though I shaved my face.
Yeah, why did you shave your face?
I did it out of courtesy to Stephanie, because she does not like my beard. I showed her a horror film, and I felt really bad because she was not enjoying the after effect. Because I told her, I was like, it's pretty low key. It's pretty good. It's actually really funny. It's well written. I think you can handle it. She's like, okay, great. It was Cabin in the Woods.
Uh-huh. That voice you're hearing is the person we had yet to introduce on the episode. My lovely fiance, Debbie. Hi, honey.
Hi.
You showed Stephanie Cabin in the Woods.
It's a good movie.
Well, I wouldn't know because I've never seen it.
It is a great movie. It's just, I think I'm just so used to horror films that I kind of I didn't consider her point of view about it. So I was just like, oh yeah, it's a little gory, but it's not that bad. And then Steph has said this many times on previous episodes that it's not that she's scared, it's just that she's super empathetic and also is aware of how like shit works in the medical. She's not a doctor by no stretch of the means, but she knows like there's a part where a blonde gets her head cut off, and Steph was just like obsessed with like, well, it wasn't a clean cut. Does that mean the brain is aware that it's a disembodied head?
Yeah, see, Steph focuses on that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's. But honestly, Rico, after the Halloween episode, I don't trust your judgment in horror films because
lay off of Halloween.
Because that was terrible.
Yeah, fuck you. Go back and take a shower, you angry fuck.
That was so terrible.
It was not. You are alone in this.
When it was made, too. Like, back when it was made, it was such a good movie. You have to appreciate it for when it was made.
Ugh.
CJ, I'll tell you this. Steph and I listened to the Halloween episode, and Steph was, like, getting really pissed at you.
Really? I told her how I felt before we even recorded.
But she didn't hear all the detail and everything. She was pissed off that you didn't even you didn't think the music was another character.
I thought, all right, so for those who have listened to the Halloween episode, at the beginning of the episode, there's like 10 or 15 seconds of the Halloween music. I took that from the 2018 Halloween. And I gotta tell you, that sounded better than the one from 78. Like, that one would have frightened me more than the one that they played in the 78 version.
You know, for someone who likes old school shit and 70s and 80s and shit like that, you come off like a fucking millennial.
Well, in some instances, maybe, and there are plenty of things like I
second
love.
That one.
Shut up.
I do. I totally do.
But I love like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and that's got to be circa the same time window.
You are alone in this argument.
And I acknowledge that I'm probably alone. I've said that on the recording. I was saying it tonight, and I've said it to other people that have heard the episode and asked me the same questions you have.
Well, look, let me give you a little bit of advice, even though you're older than me. When one person says something, it's an opinion. When everyone tells you that you're wrong, you might want to consider it being a fact.
Or it's still an opinion that I'm just on the other side of.
But I can see where both of you are coming from. That's the thing. Because honestly, if that was a movie that was made today, it would be pretty pathetic.
If it was made exactly the same way it was made then, yes. If they made that same movie with 2018, 17, whatever technology, it would be a completely different movie. So if you're saying the way it was made then, now, yeah, I would agree with you.
But I like Halloween. It's still going to be one of those classics that I appreciate.
Well, but obviously, if you released Dracula with Bela Lugosi from 1930, and released it shot for shot. And now this is a brand new movie. We brought Bela Lugosi back from the dead. We shot in black and white and everything. Obviously, it wouldn't fit. You have to go with the time.
Right, but all right. Not to get on a whole thing here, but I can, for an example, it's a really good example. It's not a horror, it's a comedy, but it's an older movie, and I think it is a classic, and that's Young Frankenstein with Gene Wilder and is that Peter Boyle, I think, as Frankenstein? Yeah, or the monster. Yeah, I mean that's a classic movie that holds up, in my opinion. That was really amazing.
But that was made in 1974.
Right, exactly. That's my point. Just because it's old doesn't mean it's bad. That's not what I'm saying.
I mean, I can appreciate you're not a fan of the horror genre. I do, but
That wasn't even a horror movie. I laughed through most of it.
You are out of your fucking mind. Without it, there wouldn't be a whole stretch of slashers.
But Deb would tell you. Deb would back me up. I laughed through most of it. She'll back that up. She's not going to necessarily agree with me.
He giggled at some of it, and then I heard a lot of, this is stupid.
Yeah.
This is so stupid. Why do you guys like this movie?
So
that's what I say every time I get on the fucking podcast.
I was telling him that you have to appreciate it for what it is. It is a good movie. I mean, it is Halloween 1, and it is classic. It is.
Anyway,
I think that you're forgetting exactly when it was made.
I'm done recommending movies to you.
No, you've recommended some good movies. That was just a bad one. Anyway, so let's move forward.
It's not just an old movie; it's an independent. That's the other thing. It's an independent film.
But don't tell me I don't like independent films, because I love Clerks. You know I do, and it's old and black and white. Well, not as old, but it's old. It's black and white. It's independent.
Clerks because it's funny.
And it's good.
He likes it because Kevin Smith made it.
By the way, Kevin Smith's a huge fan of Halloween, so fuck you.
And more power to him, and more power to you. I'm not saying that people who are fans of this are bad people or anything. I just thought it was stupid.
Let's move forward.
I think I'm getting more pissed off at you than I was of the new movie.
All right, well, let's just stop. So, I understand the shaving your beard for Steph, and because you felt like you owed her or whatever. What's with the hair growth and the mutton chops that are coming in, it looks like?
I didn't want to dull out a razor by shaving everything. So I just have to go to a barber.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway.
Or wait for fucking Christmas for the skull shaver you promised me.
No, I didn't promise you I was getting you that. I just mentioned it. It's something that I should get you if I could, and I can't. So, oh well. Plus, I wouldn't handle that anyway. You would need to get rid of that. That's too long for a skull shaver anyway.
Did you tell Rico about your new receiver?
No, we're not even going to get into that insanity. So.
Insanity. I got shocked and wasn't aware of it.
Well, that's not my fault. You can't feel when you're being electrocuted.
I didn't know what was going on. I was like, God, this really hurts. What the hell's going on? And I was being electrocuted trying to put the speaker wires in.
Yeah, but you don't know when you're getting electrocuted?
I wasn't aware of it at the first couple seconds, no. It took me a minute to think about it, and I was like, oh, I'm being electrocuted.
Do you just use shock therapy to go to bed? Is that like a normal thing?
That's what I said to him. I said, since I got my shock therapy for the day.
Yeah. We might need to start doing that. You might sleep better. So anyway.
So funny.
Well, so let's do our usuals first. So what's the hashtag FatFuck follow-up for this week?
Okay. Well, I haven't been to the gym since Tuesday. Okay. And the reason why is because I fucked up my knee really, really badly.
Oh, wow.
I sort of incorporated my own workout regime, which I didn't consult with a personal trainer or anything like that. I was just like, this seems like a good idea. And I went on a treadmill. That always works. Yeah, I went on a treadmill and I raised the incline all the way up to 15. But which was fine. I had been doing that 5 or 6 times before that. And what I do is every minute I lower the incline by one button press. So, 0.5 and then 0.5 and then 0.5.
Right.
And then every 2 minutes I raise the speed by, 0.5. So as it's getting lower, and more level, the speed is getting higher and higher. So I'm keeping my heart rate up. I'm sweating profusely. And it's just basically fucking Stairmaster. Just you have to move.
They have stair climbers that you could do if you really wanted that stair effect.
Well, I also have stairs here. I should just not have gone to the fucking gym. I should just walk up and down the fucking stairs.
Well,
I don't know. When I go on an incline or I do the Stairmaster, it fucks my knees up. It really does.
well,
here's the whole thing.
Knees up too.
Well, I have bad knees.
Well, I got bad knees, but I didn't think it was going to be a bad thing because nothing cracked, nothing popped. I didn't hear anything, and it didn't hurt.
So you just kind of
strained
it?
What?
Did you strain it?
I must have. And then I was fine. And then I went to work there that day and was on my feet for 4 or 5 hours. And then I think that combination just fucked my knee.
Probably.
And I think it was my knee was out of alignment. And I was just putting all this weight and pushing on it and pushing on it and pushing on it. And then, but there's a happy story. I got sick and tired of limping for fucking 3 days and then going to work and aggravating it again because my job just required me to get on the floor and grab movies for people.
Okay.
And I got a whole fucking bunch of shit I got to tell you guys about my job too.
Okay.
So then I got tired of it. So I was like I have one of those weird obsessions with chiropractors. Like I actually do think a lot of them work. And I
agree.
I've
watched chiropractor videos late at night. Like it's sort of relaxing to see someone else get their body cracked, and I guess I'm what you would call a crack addict.
What is with the people in my life watching weird fucking medical videos? Like for real.
Don't even say mine.
No, I've talked about yours anyways.
You have?
I'm pretty sure I have, yeah. Because you're watching chiropractor videos, she's watching Dr. Pimple Popper.
Thanks.
Yeah, I watch those too. I'm glad I'm switching from pimple popping to chiropractor. It's a little bit,
it's less gross. Yeah,
it's a little cleaner.
A lot of people like it though. That's the thing. A lot of people watch his videos.
CJ, we're fucking weird. We like Halloween and chiropractors and pimples. I'm sorry.
I know. I like going to a chiropractor. I wish I was still going to a chiropractor, but it's expensive for me. So,
well, this is what I did. I looked up how to do it yourself.
Oh my god!
No.
Oh my god! It fucking worked. My knee is 80% better.
Yeah, but you're lucky you didn't
fuck it up more.
Yeah.
Well, I did exactly what the fucking guy said. It wasn't like, it was just basically a Joe Blow of how to fucking do it. He was just like, all right, this is what you do. You stand on the fucking, on a chair, extend your foot, and then turn. You sort of crisscross with your hips. And I did it with my good knee just to see if I'm fucked, then I'm fucked. Then I go to an actual chiropractor. And I fucking felt the thing crack in a good way. I'm like, holy fuck. It actually felt like it dropped into place. So I said, all right, let's do the other one. And I didn't hear like it did with the other one because the other one was more damaged. But I fucking felt it, and I immediately got a whole wave of tension relief. Like, I was like, holy shit. That's all it took? So...
You need to do me a favor. The next time you're doing some shit like that, before you do it, set up the tablet and record that shit. I want video of you on a chair trying to pop your limbs. Because when you're found, dead from snapping yourself in half, we at least have proof that you did it to yourself.
I literally had an aunt that a chiropractor fractured her back.
Yeah, you told me that story. Yeah. Anyway, well, good luck. All kidding aside, I'm glad you're feeling better. And I guess that means you're going back to the gym starting next week, now that you're more in line.
Probably tomorrow.
Probably tomorrow.
But I'm still going to take it easy. I'm not going to do what I
don't rush yourself until you're better.
Of course. Yeah, don't overdo it. All right, so really quick, because unfortunately she's not there. What did she think very quickly? I'd like to, obviously you were there. What was her feedback on that?
She was definitely kind of like, she thinks, I think I could speak for her. She likes the first one more, but she hasn't, apart from that one and H2O, she hasn't seen that other many Halloween films.
Sure. Well, still, she saw it, so she had some opinion.
She agreed with me on some of the same criticisms I had. I offered some alternatives, man, if they had done this, it would have been way better. And she said, yeah, I agree. And then she was still we had to walk around, go do something a little bit lighthearted after, because she, even though it was there was gore. It is a suspenseful film, which is her whole big thing. So she's not, a lover of horror films, and so she was still kind of like, let's walk around for a little bit, and let's get the fuck out of there. And we immediately went into one of those Spirit Halloween stores.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So after we walked out of the movie, we just walked right into one of those, and there was like an animatronic Michael Myers stabbing with a knife.
That's great timing, Rico.
Awesome.
Good going.
No, Steph's. I was like, hey, I want to go in there and see if they have a costume I can get, which I ultimately didn't do. And she's like, oh my god, dude, look, Michael Myers, and we actually took a photo of it with him in the background. So she's got a photo of it.
Anyway, well, we have Deb here for a specific. Are you done, Rico? I'm sorry, my bad. I didn't mean.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay. We have Deb here because we watched something that she introduced me to, which is a rarity. But it's exciting when it happens, and especially when it's intriguing. And
was it Halloween 2?
No, it's not Halloween 2. You know what? Her and I even talked about it. I almost put it on the other day just to see if it improved. I really did think about making an effort to watch the second one, meaning like the old 80s something
the original
second one. Yeah. To see if it got better. And we did not because of any reason except life. But, as you know, Rico, that happened, so it wasn't a thing. But we watch a show on a channel called the Paramount Network. I don't know if you guys have that out there. It used to be Spike, for those who are listening. They're familiar with Spike TV. And they have a show on there called Ink Masters, which is a tattoo reality contest type show that we both enjoy because we love tattoos, and it's actually really interesting, not for the reality TV aspect, but for the art that they do and the different styles and stuff. And that's why we watch it primarily. However, with that, you get commercials for other programming on those channels, and on this channel, they announced they were running a 7-episode, 14-part...
No, it was 9 parts.
Was it 9 parts?
It was
okay.
9 parts.
Sorry. 9-part series based on the movie Heathers from 1988. Well, at least 88 according to the IMDb.
The fuck? They made a show of Heathers?
Yes, they did.
They did. But they modernized it. They brought it into the 20... No, Rico, I'm going to let Deb get in this. I'm going to back off in a second, but it was really well done. I only saw the last 4 episodes, 6 parts or something, because the parts don't line up with the amount of episodes, because they only had like 5 or 6 episodes, but it was a 9-part thing, because each episode was like an hour and 20 minutes and something, and they would treat each episode as like a 2-part thing, so I don't remember exactly how the math lined up. It was like 5 episodes, 9 parts, something like that. And they ran them in consecutive nights over a 5-night window, and then just, it's over, it's done. Well, at least this season, they did leave it so that there could be a second one.
They left it hanging.
They did.
So
they left it
will come back.
Well, whether or not it will come back is another story, but they left it so they could bring it back. So, anyway, that said, I will let Deb get into the episodes a little bit, and then we can talk about it, because as a result, Deb and I did watch the original movie last night, so because I had never seen it. So, at least I can somewhat talk about it. And I did like that one, so I do like old movies. Thank you. So.
I don't think you like something you just don't like stuff from the 70s, you like it from the 80s.
That's it. You got me. All right. Go ahead, honey. Talk about the show.
Let's start. Okay, well they kept a lot of originality to the show, like the snappy snack shack, slushies, and the one thing that annoys me through everything is the pate thing.
Yeah, there was a lot of pate talk.
A lot.
With well, hold on. I'm gonna fill in some gaps, honey, because I'm getting reaction from Rico that I know you can't see, so I will jump in from time to time. Veronica's parents, apparently, because that's a thing with and it was like that in the movie too, if I recall. So
yeah, but it wasn't overdone as far as I know.
Oh no, in the show it's overdone.
Yeah, but I feel like. Go ahead, Rico.
To be fair, it's been like a couple fucking years since I've seen the movie, so
right. And
I mean, If I remember, I only remember like the key scenes of the movie. So,
okay, well,
you guys may be doing better than I am tonight.
Right, and they overdid it a little, but not to a point of annoyance. Not to me, anyway. It felt equal to me. Deb, what do you think? You're a bigger fan than I am.
The show actually tended to bring up the pate thing more than the movie did. The movie brought it up twice, but in the show, it went over and over again with the pate thing.
And to be fair, honey, you're dealing with an hour and 40 minutes versus
an hour and 40 minutes once to an hour and 40 minutes 5 times.
Right,
Yes.
8 hours or so,
Right.
But go ahead, honey.
Okay, let's see. The show starts off now. If you remember, Shannon Doherty she was Heather Duke in the movie.
Right.
Now the show starts off with seeing her set her home on fire, and then she's waving.
Wait. You need to clarify for Rico because she's not Heather Duke in the show.
No, I was about to get to that.
Okay, well, you probably should have led with that.
All right, you start off seeing her. You don't know exactly who she is yet. And then she's setting a house on fire, and then you see her look down, the car pulls in, and there's a little boy in the passenger seat, and I'm guessing who's her husband in the driver's seat. And then she waves down to her son, and she ends up blowing her head off, putting a gun to her head and blowing her head off. Well, she is showing herself as being JD's mom, is what happened. Now, you remember in the movie, JD's mom did die as well, but not like that.
Right.
Yeah, so that was kind of neat to put the character from the movie into the actual TV show. That's what I thought. What do you want to know, honey?
Nothing. You're talking.
Okay. Let's see what else happened. They still had the same characters. They did have Heather Duke, Heather M, Heather Chandler, Veronica, Ram, and all them. They had all of them. But the coolest thing that I thought about the show, which was really neat, is how they brought it into the 21st century, was Heather Chandler was actually an overweight girl. She's actually an overweight girl.
She's a BBW, as they say, the big beautiful woman, and she's very proud of it. And we came to find out after watching the series that that's how she is in real life too. She's very much like her character now, a little less snotty, I think, but definitely as proud of her body as the character was.
Yes.
Okay.
They turned Heather Duke into I guess a homosexual.
Yeah,
man.
it's a transvestite male. I don't know if she's going to go through transition. I don't think that's what they're going for, but it was definitely a guy who is transvestite.
Transgendered.
Well, no, because it's still full male, all male, but dresses like a woman, acts like a woman, but full male parts, not making the attempt to transition. That at least they don't allude to that or talk about that part that I could see.
Oh, he was my favorite character.
But he calls himself Heather.
Yes, he goes by Heather Duke. Yes,
I believe his
name
is.
That means he's transgendered.
Okay, if that's okay.
If that's how it goes, that's how it goes.
Yeah.
I don't think I was correct in what I was saying, but he's my favorite character out of the whole thing.
And to be fair, Rico, again, this actor who played Heather Duke in that role is also in that same part of his life for real. Like his name is Brandon Scannell, or I think that's how you say his last name. And they're all young guys. They're young people. He's like 20, 22, full on ginger. But we saw him in real life, and he's
very similar to his character in real
life.
life.
Much like the Heather Chandler character, Melanie Field. Same idea. She's very much like her character in real life.
Yes.
Hold on, Rico, are you alright? You look bored.
I'm just looking at the characters as well. So I'm not
okay.
behind.
Go ahead. Yeah.
All right, let's see. Differences throughout the movie. There was a lot of big differences. Like in the TV show, Heather M actually ends up killing herself. When in the movie, Heather M tries to kill herself, but she doesn't actually die because Veronica saves her. Mm-hmm. She's like the first one that actually starts everything. She starts the whole suicide thing through the school. Oh no, she isn't the first one. Actually, Heather Chandler is. You remember how they killed Heather Chandler in the movie, right?
Was it poison?
Yes, they gave her Hall Clean.
Yeah.
Yeah, in a cup, and she ended up getting poisoned and dropped dead through her glass coffee tables. And now Heather Chandler in the show does the same thing, but she doesn't get poisoned by Hall Clean. It actually, they end up going to a Remington party and with Veronica, because, in the movie, they also go to a Remington party, but the Remington party in today's Heathers in the show is actually an art show. Okay. And they actually keep Hall Clean in there. It's a big piece of art that says Hall Clean.
Bitch.
You gotta watch it.
It's interesting.
It's really interesting. I can't really explain it until you watch it.
Well, let me jump in here a little bit. So, what? Couple other interesting things, Rico, is they don't kill off the same people that they kill off in the movie, but there is the same amount of death. One of the things that she was telling me, like, there's the I gotta jump to the movie cast. I have it right here. There was there's Martha Dunstock, the big girl that they make fun of a couple times throughout the movie. That character does not transition to the TV show, but they replace her with another character that they call
Trailer Parker.
They call her Trailer Parker. Now, that's not her real name, but it's like the same thing.
Trailer Parker, yeah, I got it.
Right. At one point, she ends up paralyzed in a rascal scooter, like Dump Truck does from the movie. I don't think Dump Truck's paralyzed. I think she's just injured from jumping in front of the bus. But and they do some of the same things. They do a lot of homage. Like, there's that scene at the end of the movie, spoilers, people, where Dump Truck goes around Veronica in the scooter. She does a circle around her in a hallway. Well, at one point, Heather Chandler, thank you, takes this Trailer Parker character out to dinner, and when they're walking down the hall, they do the same scene. So there's homages to that. There was a scene with JD. Oh, when Veronica hangs herself in the movie and JD's talking to her, they almost do that scene shot for shot in the TV show. So, but Veronica in the TV show almost looks like a Heather from the movie. She's blonde. She's really, overly luxuriously pretty, that kind of thing, whereas
Winona Ryder was more of a plain Jane.
Right.
Yes.
Exactly. Right. She almost looks like the Heather that survived, the cheerleader Heather. I thought that the Veronica from the show would look very similar to that Heather.
The Heather M.
Is that what? Okay,
it's Heather M.
I'm getting all the Heathers confused. But
there's a lot of fucking Heathers.
Yeah. So there's a lot of similarities, and I think it was well done. They brought it into the 21st century. There's cell phone use. There's things like that. So it's not like they're setting this in the 80s. They're setting it in 2018.
But they do keep very important parts from the movie.
I would agree.
They do a lovely homage to the movie. Even though they brought it into the 21st century, it's still Heathers.
Yeah.
What about JD? How's he? I mean, I was never a massive fan of Christian Slater, but I loved his performance. I actually read that he based it on Jack Nicholson.
I could see that. I could totally
see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He already sounds and looks like a young Nicholson.
He does.
But he purposely wrote to Jack Nicholson, and this is like the beginning of Christian Slater's career. It wasn't like he was known, but he wrote to Nicholson and said I really you're my idol, and I really just want to let you know that I'm basing this character on you. And I just want your approval. And Nicholson apparently just never fucking responded.
That sounds about right too. I could see Nicholson doing that. And I thought that, and honey, you back me up and tell me what you think. But I think that the character, the guy who played him in the show, James Scully, really did a nice homage to Christian Slater's character. Like he the hair's a little bit different, and he doesn't wear the trench coat constantly.
He doesn't drive the motorcycle.
Right, he's got a car.
Porsche.
He actually had a Porsche 944 is what he was driving, and then he ends up with a Mustang by the end of it, because spoilers. Enrico, do you want us to spoil the show, or do you plan to see this at some point? Or
unless Netflix or my job gets it, I don't really know how I'm going to watch it. So
We could probably find a way to get it on that DVR thing we did for you before. But anyway, that said, his Porsche, Veronica blows up his Porsche. So
and then puts him in a mental ward.
And puts him in, kidnaps him and puts him in the middle. Veronica's in this is psychotic.
She's psycho. She's crazy. Where Christian Slater was the psycho in the movie.
What's that, Rico?
So Veronica's the JD, essentially.
No, they're both.
They're like a Bonnie and Clyde, like huge Bonnie and Clyde in the show.
That's a really good way to put it, honey. Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like, she actually she did a whole murder on her own when she was like 9 years old.
Doesn't fucking Veronica blow herself up at the movie?
No, Christian Slater does. JD.
I thought she blows at the end, she blows up the school.
No, he does.
The bomb on her.
No. No.
God, it's been fucking years. I need to rewatch others.
He blows himself up. She's in the room when he does it.
It's not a room, they're outside. She's standing on the staircase.
Okay. That's right. I remember that.
Yeah.
And she pulls out he says, "What are you going to do?" And she pulls out a cigarette. And then he blows himself up, and the cigarette like lights.
From the blast, Whereas really, you should be covered in fucking Slater chunk.
Yeah.
She should be dead as close as she was to the bomb. Let's be real.
Yeah, I mean, if it lit her cigarette, she really should just be fucking dead.
But, that's what it is.
There's so much about the show that is... It's just a huge train wreck, but it's an amazing train wreck. You just can't look away. It's awesome.
All right, I'll give it a shot.
I gotta say, Rico, because you and I both watch and listen to Hollywood Babylon all the time, and they've got that segment that's called "No Thanks, We've Already Got One." It's in reference to remakes and redos and sequels and stuff. And I gotta be honest with you,
we already got one.
Don't need another one. It's already been done.
It's already been done.
Yeah. So, all kidding aside, I would have been thinking this would have fell into that, and I would love to hear what Garmin thinks, because I don't think he knows this exists. But it's pretty well done. It really is, and look, I'll tell you this. We were, like I said, we were watching the tattoo show. We saw a commercial for it. Deb said to me, "Oh, hey, I really would like to watch that." So I said, "All right, so I'll set the thing to record so you can watch it." And I set the DVR and I recorded all the episodes, and she was watching them while I was at work. And she got through all but 4 by the time I got home.
You got through 5 parts of it. You did. I had already been through 4. Yeah,
or something like that.
Something along those lines.
But we came home and we didn't have any of our usual shows to watch, and so she threw on Heather's while we were going to figure out what we were doing, and we ended up watching the rest of it. And it's a fucking train wreck, but it's a train wreck you can't stop watching. It's one of those types of things. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? I'm not going to tell you it's great cinema and it's the best TV show that's ever been on television, but hey, it's not half bad, man.
You know what I've been hearing is supposed to be really fucking amazing right now is the reboot of Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
I've heard that too. I haven't seen it, but I've heard that too.
We haven't watched it, but we did see the advertisement for it.
Yeah, I mean it is on Netflix now. It came out last week, so it's there.
All I've heard is nothing this is amazing. I'm like, well, I mean, to be fair, I was never a fan of the original show, although I did like the fucking wise cracking cat Salem.
Oh yeah, the cat was the best part of the show.
Yeah, I heard the cat is not there's a cat in the new one, but he's not talking and shit. Uh-huh. Which I'm like, well, fuck you, don't take my money.
Well, yeah. Here's the thing, though. It's I'm sure have you been watching Riverdale?
No, but I heard they're connected.
Well, they're definitely connected, but it's a lot darker than.
I started Riverdale, and I'm like, I am so fucking bored.
Were you? Okay.
Just they took everything I loved, the Archie comics. Because I was a big, massive fan of Archie. And then I'm just like, I don't need this fucking updated, hipster bullshit.
Right.
Jughead is not supposed to be amazing looking. I'm sorry.
No, I hear you. So, listen, is there anything about Heather anything else about Heather's you wanted to see? Because Deb's got to go and do some stuff before our night's out.
No. That is good.
All right, honey. Well, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
All right, goodbye.
Shit, I completely forgot about something.
What's up?
So, adding to the misery of this week, my car got hit and run.
What?
Yeah.
Were you in it?
I was. No, I was not in it. It was parked, and I didn't even see the fucking thing. So, a couple days ago, I go to get a pack of cigarettes. It was around like 2:30 or something like that, and I get in my car, and the fucking thing drags really hard to the left. I'm like, what the fucking fuck? So I have to like really drag it, like pull the steering wheel to the right. So I'm kind of like swerving, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I immediately pull over,
Right.
pull into my driveway, and look at my wheel, and the outer casing on the tire is like cracked and peeling off. And so what I had deduced was someone the night before, because I hadn't driven my car once I got home the night before, someone either drove into my car head on and hit the wheel, so like they clipped it on the side, or they backed into it and then just took off. But whatever they did, my left front tire is moved forward like an inch. So the alignment's all fucked up.
Is the axle okay? Because that's under the axle could be damaged.
I think something's bent. I think the rim for sure is bent, and I think the wheel itself might be bent. Like the tire's not caved in or bent at an awkward angle, but like it's moved forward an inch. There should not be that much of a gap. I shouldn't be able to stick my foot in between the wheel, the tire, and the car itself. But I can wiggle it around. I can stick my.
Not for the car you have. I'm not saying that as a shot at your car, but there are some cars you can actually do that. But your car, you shouldn't be able to. No,
because I went on the other side and checked it. And my dad has a friend who came by the other night. He's a mechanic and he knows his shit. And I just said, hey, can you just take a look at this? And he said, oh yeah, this thing's fucked. I'm like, well, thanks for your diagnosis.
Right? Thanks.
He's like, yeah, I could do it. It's a $2,000 job, but I can do it for about $500. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute.
So what are you driving? The one at the back up?
I'm driving Steph's Prius.
Well, okay. Without getting too much into her business, and you tell me if you need me to cut this. So what the hell did they drive to Washington?
Her mom came to Oakland, picked her up, and they're driving her mom's car to Portland or Oregon or Washington or wherever.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And then Steph's gonna fly back.
Right.
Tuesday.
Right, but once that. Oh, is there a day? Because last I heard that was up in the air, but I haven't spoken to her in a few days, so.
I actually made a joke. I'm like, Steph, you're coming back, right? Like, you're not just gonna fucking dump your dog on me and all your shit. Like, this isn't
I gotta be honest with you, Rico. I thought the same thing. That's funny.
I mean, like, I was just like you're not leaving me, right? You didn't just do this whole fucking move because storage is cheaper out here or some shit, right? She's like, no, I'm definitely coming back. And, I what do you think I'm going to do? Just leave my dog? I'm like, I don't know. You may not like this dog. That's funny. So we had a whole big laugh about it. But, I mean, I can deal with someone fucked with, hitting my car. They probably didn't know. They probably backed into it. Or, it doesn't matter. I mean, yeah, it's annoying. But what really fucking pisses me off is the following thing. So I pulled it in the driveway, and my dad and I just wanted to get the outer plastic casing off because we thought that is what's causing it's rubbing against something. But
right.
The way to take it off is to take off the lug nuts.
Sure.
In order to take off this protective casing. I don't have a jack in my car. I had the other components for a jack, like the crank, I guess, but not the actual jack. So. I guess it just never was put in the car or something, which is weird because there's the other accessories that go with the jack.
Did you buy that used or new?
Oh, this is used. It was a 2002 Honda Civic.
Okay, yeah. Then whoever sold it probably just took it out and forgot to. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't think it was out of maliciousness.
No, probably not.
So my dad and I were thinking, okay, well, we could probably loosen the lugs, not take off the wheel, make sure the wheel's still on it, and then just take off the center casing. And and my dad has a jack, but it goes to a Mercedes. So we tried using that. That doesn't really work. And I'm calling my mother asking, what?
The jack should work no matter what. They're not usually assigned to the car.
No, if it's an old 70s Mercedes, it is. It has a very specific jack.
Yeah, well, yeah. Okay. I misunderstood what you were going with here. Go ahead.
No, my dad prominently uses, 70s and 80s Mercedes diesel. So it's a whole other fucking thing.
It's better for the environment.
So I called my mom.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they run on biodiesel.
I know. Yeah.
I drive by, it smells like french fries. We use vegetable oil, so. But I called my mom to ask her if she had a fucking jack, and she's like, just call AAA. That's what I pay for them. I'm like, all right, fuck. Call AAA because now we realize we can't get the fucking wheel back on because we don't have a fucking jack. And we don't want the thing to fall because then it would actually damage the wheel itself. I call AAA, and the whole point of this was for me just to go get a pack of cigarettes and maybe something to eat. So I haven't done that yet. And Dad's like, hey, you have any cigarettes? I'm like, where the fuck do you think I was trying to go? And I blocked him in the driveway. So I can't take one of his cars. So I can't drive the Prius. I can't drive his car because I blocked this all in because I just didn't know what the fuck was going to happen.
Right.
Luckily, he had a spare other Mercedes that was on the street that used to be mine, and we're now trying to sell that. So if anybody's interested in the Bay Area for a fucking 85 Mercedes diesel, you should hit us up.
Shit, I'd consider it if I was in the area. But anyway.
So I called AAA. They said they're going to be there in 70 minutes. I said, all right, fuck. Now I have time to go run these errands. Dad wanted me to go get some pizza. So I said, all right, I'll go to this place. I'll get it, and I'll get my cigarettes.
Let me guess. They showed up in like 20 minutes.
5. And there's no number for me to talk to the driver directly. It's just one of those little text alerts from the company. So I'm calling Dad and saying, go outside, wait for the driver, stall them. I can't turn around now. The pizza's still being made. I got to fucking just stall them. Took me 15, 20 minutes. I come back, and I don't know her name, so I actually can't fucking, call her out. But whoever they sent out was just fucking incompetent at this job. And I don't want her to get fired or anything like that, but just, God, she just makes some really stupid decisions. And she talks really softly, just like, okay, well, let me get what? I just said, I can't understand you. Just try again, please. And, when I was rummaging around trying to find a jack, I found the donut in the trunk, one of those spare tire donut things. Yeah. Which is basically just an oversized, like one of those, it looks like a tricycle big wheel. Is what it is.
Donuts are meant to be temporary solutions. Yeah.
I don't understand how it'd even be a solution because it just, anyways, I pulled that out and set it aside thinking, what the fuck is this stupid thing? And then the AAA, mechanic or whatever puts that fucking thing on.
Well, that's what they're trained to do. Yeah.
But she didn't ask me. She didn't say, is this what you want? I just said, I just want the original tire is fine because it's still more or less brand new. We just want the cover off. We just want you to fucking all I really need was her to fucking jack the thing up. That's all I really needed.
Right.
She puts the wrong thing on and then leaves. She says, all right, I'm done. And I had already signed. They make you sign it before they do anything. I was like, no, you go sign it after. I don't know why, but so she takes off. I realize what the fuck she did. I call AAA again, and I try to explain to them, like, I need you to send another driver out here to unfuck up what the first person did.
Unfuck up what the person. Did you say that? I hope you said that. Please tell me you said that.
I did say that. And I also specified, I said, now, I really hope you're not going to deduct this from my credits or whatever, because you're only allowed 4 for a year, basically. So they sent out another guy after I complained enough, but I first had to call them up, and I complained, and I said, I really need someone to come and unfuck up what this first person did. And they said, oh, okay, well, no problem. We'll send someone out. And I said, I really hope this doesn't go up against my
you were mentioning that.
You're only allowed 4 a year or some shit. And I don't know if I get 4 in a year or 4 in a calendar year or if it rolls over or whatever. So I was saying, like, I really hope this doesn't deduct it because it's stupid to use 2 of them for one fucking tire in one fucking day. And
especially because your person
like,
fucked up.
What?
Especially because your person fucked up.
Exactly. I said, like, just because they fucked, and the person I spoke to said, actually, this is going to count as a separate thing because the first person provides service. And I said, listen, if I order a sandwich at a restaurant,
here we go,
and the waitress brings me the wrong order, I don't have to buy another fucking sandwich.
That's true. That's true.
I mean, I paid for I'm using the initial product. Even if I'm using a fucking coupon to get the sandwich, you still bring me the fucking thing I fucking ordered. So they sent out another guy, and I sort of bitched at him. I said, this is not your fault. Thank you for coming out. I really appreciate it. But, like, don't you think this is stupid? He's like, I think this is very stupid. And he said,
oh, well, good.
Here's a card. Call this person. And I had to leave them a message. He's like, call customer service. I said, okay. And I called them, and there was no fucking service for the customer. And I had to leave them a fucking message explaining everything. And then, my car is parked to the side. I'm driving Steph's car, and I had a really fucking out-of-body experience in a Prius when I was driving her car the other day because a fucking Prius ran a stop sign in front of me, and I blared my horn, and I yelled, I'm like, you stupid fucking Prius driver! And then I realized I'm in a fucking Prius, and I'm like, oh,
hold on. So Deb had to get off the podcast, but she still can hear what we're saying. Or at least my half. So I have to share this with her because she's convinced a Prius tried to kill her multiple times. So, honey, Steph owns a Prius. Hold on. I think she's coming back to the microphone. Hold on. Just sit down over there. She's not coming back for good. She's got things she's got to do, but she needs to be part of this story. All right. So, Steph has a Prius, and Rico's car, because it's all fucked up, he's driving Steph's Prius right now because she's not in town for reasons that aren't worth getting into again.
Most evil car in the world.
Well, yeah, but anyway, he's driving her Prius. Go ahead, Rico, tell that story again so Deb can hear it.
I forgot I was driving a Prius, and I was sort of had an out-of-body in a car experience because I was driving and some idiot fucking Prius that looked exactly like Stephanie's ran a stop sign in front of me, and almost hit me. And I blared my horn and I yelled because I had a window open. I said, "You stupid fucking Prius driver!" And then I realized I was driving a Prius.
No,
I had to pull over, and I was like, "Motherfucker!" I still haven't told Stephanie, so she's the one, even though she drives a Prius. And her car, look, in all honesty, the Prius is a fine car. I mean, because I don't know shit about cars, I could say a fucking oversized electric Razor is a nice car. But
No. Priuses are evil.
They're actually not bad cars. Deb just doesn't like them because they've almost killed her like twice.
I think it's three times. All within 2 weeks span. Like, I used to go for runs and walks, and this white Prius almost ran me over. And then I was at a program, and then this Prius just comes. I was walking across the street, there was no cars, and all of a sudden this baby blue Prius almost ran me over.
You can't fucking hear them, dude. They're silent but deadly.
Yes!
They are! They are just not... No.
They'll save the fucking planet, but they'll kill everybody else.
Exactly.
All right. Anyway.
So yeah, that was a big realization. I'm like, I'm that idiot Prius driver. And the funny thing is, the Steph will be the first one to be like, stupid fucking Prius drivers. I'm like, honey, you're driving a Prius. Like, I know, I said what I said.
Do you, Deb doesn't like them because she doesn't like puppets, but do you like Jeff Dunham?
Yes.
Did you see the one? It's a couple years old at this point, and I own it. I'm trying to see the name of it from here, but I can't.
Talking to myself?
No, it's the one where he introduces, oh God, why'd I just blank? The terrorist puppet, the... Ahmed, yeah. It's the one where he introduces Ahmed, but before he brings any of the puppets out, he's talking about... Because he had an H1 Hummer, and his wife had a Prius, or his ex-wife now, but wife at the time, and she makes a whole load of jokes about how he's gay because he's driving this Prius, because he's got the Prius and he's holding his Chihuahua on his lap, and it's like this powder blue Prius.
A toy Chihuahua.
A toy Chihuahua, yeah. So it's a whole thing about Priuses and stuff. It's just funny. And then it's a running gag through the whole thing. Like, Peanut gives him shit about it later, and he get the puppets throughout the thing give him shit about driving a Prius. Right. So anyway,
that's the funny thing is when Steph left. Now I'm driving a Prius, and I've got a little fucking dog.
Yeah, well, Sugar's not exactly a toy Chihuahua, though.
No, but Sugar is definitely a small dog, and I flipped out because when Steph was here, I took Sugar out to go pee, and then my German Shepherds in my yard
tried to eat him.
Tried to eat her, and were barking at her through the gate, and Sugar just thinks she's a big dog, and it's just like just like trying to get at these fucking shepherds, and just not aware that she's staring at death with teeth.
Right.
I drag her
right.
in, I drag her in, and Steph's like, oh, and I'm like, get inside, you fucking Napoleonic bitch.
Wow.
That's interesting.
Well, because it's just the dog has a fucking Napoleonic complex. Just like, I'm little and I'm pissed off, and I'm like, bitch, I understand. I'm the same fucking way, but god damn it, if I had a huge German Shepherd barking at me, you better believe I'm going to sit the fuck down.
You had a whole article of how smaller people are more angry and violent than larger people.
Right, yeah. They say that the smaller, shorter you are, the more angry you are. There's a guy I know, and I won't say his name. He's we'll put it this way. He's a bit of a rival from my younger years, because he's my ex-girlfriend's ex-boyfriend that she ended up dating after we broke up. So she went back to him after we broke up. And he has what I call, Enrico, I'm sorry to say this to you, but he has what I call SIMS, which is an acronym for Short Italian Man Syndrome. Because he's like 5 foot and like 100 pounds, but he will be the first person to step up to like the 6'10", to someone like Michael, and be like, I will kick your ass. And Michael will just laugh,
Yeah, it's the Joe Pesci syndrome.
Right.
I understand.
Yeah.
Do you know the reason why, like, guys like me that are like shorter and are more angry and prone to actually be like, fuck you? Because we're closer to hell.
I like that.
Yeah, but Rico, you could fuck some shit up if you needed to. I'm sure of it. Like, this kid, no.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've definitely got some more muscle mass than Sugar, that's for sure. But I also am very. I mean, I've been in a couple fights, but I definitely always start out saying, like, are you sure you want to do this? We don't have to do this. Are you sure you want to do this?
Right.
Okay, we're doing this. I'm always trying to talk them out of the fight as I'm throwing a punch at them. I'm just like, just remember, you wanted this, motherfucker.
Right.
I got no fucking angry drunk Russian on Bart one time.
Okay, let's not get into that one. Just let that go. I think you told that story, actually, now that I think about it. But
I don't think I did. I think I mentioned it and we never discussed it.
Right, and let's keep it that way so that the Russian mob doesn't come to kill us. Anyway. I don't know.
They'll fuck with our voting before they kill me.
Yeah, right. Which, by the way, this is the Sunday before Election Day. People, I hope you voted. Please go out there Tuesday and save us from Orange 45. That aside, we have an episode to do, don't we? I think there's actually content that we want to talk about.
I thought we were. I thought this is all about me. Isn't this whole episode about me?
It really is just a gigantic Rico therapy session, is what it boils down to.
It really is, man. Ever since I kind of put Rico's rants on hold, this is just filling in my.
You actually said that on an episode. I forget which one. It was one of the most recent ones we put out. I forget which one it was. You actually said that on a recent one. But speaking of recent episodes, one of the ones that we did that I'm really proud of, actually, is our Halloween episode. I know it's a little contentious for you because of my opinion of the movie, but from a content quality perspective, I feel like it's one of the better ones we put out. That said, I did have something I forgot to talk about on the episode that I really wanted you to hear and get your opinion on. Now, we're beyond Halloween, the holiday at this point. It's over. But I heard about a law, and this is real. I looked it up. From that same morning show that I mentioned just a few minutes ago, they were talking about this. There are cities and states that are making it illegal to trick-or-treat over the age of 13. So if you're over 13, you can get fined, I think it's up to like $250, and punishable by up to 10 months in prison or jail.
Can you imagine that embarrassing fucking like story? You just get locked up, you're put in a cell, the guy next to you, you're just like, so what are you in for? Oh, murder and rape. What are you in for? I went trick-or-treating.
Well, here's the thing, though. This is the crazy part about it for me. And this is why I want your feedback a little bit. Like, who goes to jail? Is it the kid? Are you putting the kid in juvie? Or are you putting the parents in prison? Like, who's going to jail for this?
I fucking hope no one.
Well, no.
But, like...
It's real. I mean, in one city, the cutoff age is 12. If you're over the age of 12.
I mean... It's been a long time since I've trick-or-treated, but I think, no, because the last time I trick-or-treated, I think I was 16, but it wasn't like I went to house. I was just pissed off that I was like, I'm fucking 16. I want some candy, but I don't want to go out and like, there's
buy
something,
it. Yeah.
There's something about being an adult and seeing everyone else dressed up and get the Halloween spirit and go door to door. That's really a big chunk of the thrill of Halloween.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to just be a boring adult and go and buy some fucking candy and eat it and have a whole... because I can do that any fucking time of the year.
Well, all right, so on the morning show, I should give them some credit because I did write into them. The show is called Preston and Steve Show, and it's on local radio station 93.3 WMMR, and there's free plug. Not that anyone that listens to us gives a shit. But anyway, they're...
All of our listeners just go straight to them and ignore us now.
Yeah, basically. They're a much more entertaining show. But no, what they said, and I think I have to agree with this, is they had a couple, because there's 5 people on this show, 4 guys and a female. 4 of them have kids, and the one guy does not have any children, but he's very much a big kid himself, and he would be the first to tell you that, so I'm not saying that as a derogatory statement. He's very much a big kid. They all said this, basically. They said that they think one of 2 things. If you're over 14... you have to put in some work. So the costume can't be like a high school kid just wearing his football jersey and say, I'm a football player. Like, if you put on the full uniform with the shoulder pads and a helmet, that's one thing. But you can't just throw on your jersey that you would have anyway because you're a player and call yourself in costume. So that was their number 1 thing. And then number 2 that they said was that if you're over... well, they said 3 things. And then they said if you're of that same age, you gotta also maybe... give me a trick, do something funny, like, I don't know, sing a song or something, like, they didn't say you had to do that, but it'd be neat if you put that kind of effort in. Do you know what I mean? And then
sure.
The other side was that they said once you're old enough to have a license, that should be the cutoff. So, like, that should be the cutoff age, not 12 or 13. Like, once you're old enough to be able to drive, that should be really, like, the cutoff age. If there's going to be a law, that should be it.
Yeah, if you could drive to the house to trick-or-treat at, then you disqualified yourself.
See, but that made me think about something, too, and I would like your feedback, and then we'll move on, because I know there's something you want to talk about, and there's some stuff from Kev that I want to touch on, too. Let's say you have kids. Let's say you and Steph had kids. I know that's not really something that's been discussed, but let's just say you guys have kids, and they're old enough at this point to be trick-or-treating. You are a bit of a big kid, Rico, and I mean that as positively as I can say it.
Sure.
So I could see you doing something if you had a kid and they were trick-or-treating, that you would get dressed up with them in a bond of, solidarity. Like, I'm, my kid's excited, I'm getting excited with my kid. Like, you're supporting your kids, right?
Yeah.
Does that mean you're breaking the law? Like by the no, I haven't seen these laws written down. I haven't been able to read the minutia. But does that mean you're breaking the law?
No, because I'm not going door to door and saying trick or treat, and they're putting candy in my basket. I'm just a designated walker. You know,
right?
That's
even though you're in costume, right? Is that basically what you're saying?
Even though I'm in costume, I mean, right. For sure, I'd be stealing some of my kids' candy that night.
Sure.
But
so that's a parent's right. That's a thing.
Yeah, I get my 10%, motherfucker. But
all right.
It's funny you say that because I was saying earlier, like the last time I went trick or treating sort of qualifies with this. Like I said, I just wanted to get some fucking candy, and I didn't want to go to Safeway to get it. So I put on a suit, and I actually had hair back then, and it was semi long and it was dark, and I just sort of slicked it back and puffed it up a little bit, and I literally just went to the house like around the corner, and I was alone. I didn't have children with me, and there was no other kids around, and I did trick or treat, and I remember it was an adult, and I know he recognized me because just from me walking around the neighborhood, and he just said, "What are you supposed to be?" And I just said, "I'm Al Pacino. Trick or treat."
Oh God.
And he just burst out laughing, and he just said, that was worth it. Like, you get some candy.
Right, and that was kind of what the guy from the show's point was. You put in an effort to entertain this person a little bit, so.
Yeah, and then he's just like, let me hear more. I'm like, I want some, I'd love some candy. Trick or treat, I'd rather have the treat than the fucking trick. If I want a trick, I'd go find my ex-wife.
Nicely done, Rico.
Yeah. And he's just like, how old are you? And I'm like, I'm 16. He's just like, you gotta stop smoking.
Well, yeah, that's not a conversation. I do have one quick follow-up question, though. So, again, if you had kids and you were taking the kids out, so let's say you have like a...
Well, look, I have nephews, so let's just say, like, if I was taking my nephew.
Okay, but this next one's important to an age thing. So let's say, we'll stick with nephews, but let's say your nephew was like 2 or 3, right? And at some point got tired of walking around or whatever. So you're now carrying your nephew with his bag of candy, saying trick or treat for him because he's, getting tired or whatever. Are you then technically breaking the law?
At that point, if the kid is semi-unconscious,
kid's conscious just doesn't want to walk anymore.
That's too fucking bad. He doesn't get any candy. You gotta you gotta pound the pavement to get your fucking candy.
Okay,
if he's like, carry me, I'm like, fuck you, we're taking an Uber.
Well, that's fine. That's one whole other thing. But I'm saying, let's say you've given into that and you're now carrying this child and their candy bag and you're okay with that aspect. Let's just assume you're okay with that aspect. So what then does that mean for this law?
It means...
Do you see what I'm saying?
I think it's a stupid law. It shouldn't be a law.
I agree. That's kind of the point of bringing it up.
It should just be a very open thing, like, okay, you're too fucking old. At this point, you need to find some fucking parties. Like, I don't know. If I'm the one carrying the kid and the candy and the kid saying trick or treat, or I'm saying trick or treat for the kid, then I guess, I don't know. I put the kid in timeout because I don't know.
All right. Well, I just wanted to bring that up because I think it's an absurd. Yeah, it's an absurd law, and I just wanted to bring it up real quick. Speaking of lawbreakers, famous gangster Whitey Bulger died in prison this week.
Yeah, that I was not surprised, and I was also completely surprised because I was like, no one gives a fuck about Whitey Bulger anymore because for those who don't know,
I didn't know he was still alive. To be fair,
oh no. Yeah, he was like 92 or 89 or something. He was old as shit.
He was in his 80s.
And what it was that he was a Boston Irish gangster, and he ran South Boston, basically. And the funny thing, what?
Oh, sorry, but isn't The Departed based on him in some capacity?
Yes.
Okay.
So Jack Nicholson's character, Frank Costello, is loosely based on Whitey Bulger.
That's what I thought. Okay, go ahead.
Whitey Bulger, was a, for every gangster, there's usually this whole thing where they're ruthless fucking killers. They hate rats. They hate the cops, but they're always like regarded as pillars of the community. They're always donating to the neighborhood.
Right.
They're always helping. That's sort of they're just basically aggressive Robin Hoods.
I know it's a movie, but Don Corleone was very much like that in The Godfather, the first Godfather. Like he was ruthless, but people came to him, and he was very helpful to his community.
Absolutely, and I think that's really look. I'm not condoning gangsters or mafiosi, but definitely, if you respected them, they will give you respect, and they will help you the fuck out. And Whitey was no different. But Whitey, the reason why he's notorious, apart from being just a notorious gangster, was he made an alliance with the FBI and became an informant.
Right.
There was an FBI agent who grew up in the same neighborhood as him, who came to him and said, "Listen, you be my informant. You give us information about the Italians in Rhode Island and the other parts of New England. Then we'll give you some freeway. We'll give you some leeway." That's what I meant. But just no killing. And Whitey Bulger just said, "Okay," and then killed everybody. Like he used the fact that he got this leeway to fucking just take over Boston. Not to mention his brother, Billy Bulger, was the senator of Massachusetts, which means these two Bulger brothers were running Boston in the 70s in entirely different ways. And my dad's from Massachusetts, and I asked him, I was like, "Did you know of the way of the Bulgers?" He's like, "No, I left before like anything like that happened, but like, he's like, it's a good fucking thing I left because, I mean, my dad was from like the upper class, well, not upper class, but more suburbs. He was not from Southie or anything like that. He wasn't from the rough
urban or suburban areas, yeah.
Suburban area. I mean, he wasn't from Charleston, but he knew of it.
Sure.
He wasn't from Dorchester. He was from, he was from Newton, which is very suburban. Like Louis C.K. is from Newton. Matt LeBlanc is from Newton. So it's just really kind of like upper class. So then, fucking Whitey Bulger died. I mean, and he didn't just die. He got fucking murdered.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's a term for it. They slocked him, which is where they take locks and they put it in socks, so slocking. And they beat him repeatedly and they stabbed him repeatedly.
And they said it's because he was a snitch. Like I'm looking up some stuff here, and so a couple of fact things real quick is number one, he was 89. You were right about that.
He was also in a wheelchair, if I remember.
This article I'm looking at is not saying one way or the other about that, but that's what it is. But a lot of people are saying that him being transferred to this prison, because he was transferred. He was in one prison forever, and they transferred him to this prison called Hazleton. I'm trying to find out where that's located. The other one he was in was Coleman in Florida. I'm not sure what this Hazleton is. I'm trying to find that out. But everyone's saying it's basically a death. It was a death sentence sending him there. And it's the third killing in this prison this year. So the Fed is actually the federal government, or the FBI is actually looking into this now.
I think they knew what they were doing. They probably put him there just to end him, because I'm sure he had a lot of information, not just about his gangster shit, but also about how corrupt the FBI could have been. Because I mean, the
could have been.
Well, at the time, for sure, they were definitely. I mean, I don't really necessarily need the FBI fucking coming after me, but like,
yeah, they don't listen to this show.
How do you know?
Well, then they're bored for 2 hours at a time.
Well, they might like our Star Wars bullshit.
Maybe.
There's a really interesting movie called Black Mass, which I've
wanted to see that. I've wanted to see that.
That was the very first rant I did. That's episode 1.
Okay.
And it stars Johnny Depp as Whitey Bulger. And I had been hearing about this forever. I'm like, dude, fucking Johnny Depp is going to be Whitey Bulger. And it went through development hell. It wasn't made for a couple of years, and then finally it was made. Johnny Depp is terrifying. Fucking scary. Like,
well,
it is.
I've always said he's a great actor. I mean, I know a lot of people
Yeah,
shit on Johnny Depp.
He also gets kind of pigeonholed in the same role. Like, especially if it's Tim Burton, it's like, okay, he's going to play a really kind of kooky, eccentric guy with probably some prosthetics.
Right.
I mean, he is a fantastic actor, but he played it like a straight up gangster. Like, and he nailed the accent because I'm a real stickler for a good Boston accent.
I was complaining about you and your speech, and I was gonna say something not right, so I won't go there. But you're being the speech police the other day to Deb because you were giving me shit about how you talk about different noodle names and stuff.
Well, that's just pronunciation. I'm talking about an accent.
No, I know you're like that too, but still.
Well, fuck you. So yeah, Johnny Depp does an amazing job. Benedict Cumberbatch plays his brother, which is kind of weird casting because they look nothing alike, but it works.
Biatch.
Benedict Cumberbatch. So yeah, Black Mass is a really good movie, but what they do is Joel Edgerton plays the FBI agent who lures him in and assigns him as and then honestly it's just a great movie. And am I happy Whitey Bulger's dead? No. I think he should have lived and suffered. You know, as an old man in a wheelchair, I think he got off easy. As brutal as the death is, I think he got off easy.
Well, he'd been in prison for a long fucking time. It's not like he just got sent in there and got killed.
Well, they just caught him recently.
Really? It made it. The article I was just looking at made it sound like he'd been in prison for a while.
He had been in prison in his early years, but he eluded cops and the police, and he was number 2 of the America's Most Wanted. For number 1 was Bin Laden. And he eluded the police for like 20 years or 30 years and was finally caught in Santa Monica as an old ass man. And they caught him outside his apartment. And they caught him and a woman he was running away with, and he had like 15 cats or something.
Okay.
Yeah. And the Black Mass, it shows the ending of that. So you're just like, what the fuck?
We do an entertainment show, last I checked, and we haven't talked much entertainment in this episode so far.
Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained? Did you hear they're making a sequel to that shit?
I did. You know, they were trying to make a sequel like years ago. The last time I heard they were going to try to make a sequel was the musician Nick Cave of Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds.
Okay.
You know that?
No,
he does
I'm not
the song
Red
Right. He does the song Red Right Hand. Okay. The intro song to Peaky Blinders, and it's sort of the main song throughout the Scream movies, like "Take a little walk through the edge of town."
No, sorry.
Bum, 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 bum. You would know it if you heard it.
Okay.
He's a fucking musician, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I was commissioned to write a screenplay for Gladiator 2," and this was like 10 years ago, and it was all about like gods and shit, like how fucking Maximus is in heaven or some shit, and he's like fighting in gods, and I'm like, what the fuck?
That'd be an interesting.
That was the last I heard.
Twist. Yeah, I don't think that's what they're doing. I don't know much about it beyond the fact that they're making it. But that said, I've been watching the new seasons of, and I know you're behind, and we talked about it a little bit before, so I'm not going to get into details, but the Berlantiverse, as it's come to be known.
Yeah.
Which is,
the Arrowverse.
The Arrowverse. I like calling it the Berlantiverse, but yeah, it's same thing. That said, it's really interesting, but I gotta tell you, I'm developing quite a crush on Danielle Panabaker.
Really?
Oh, dude, because I follow her on Twitter, and she's just like awesome follow on Twitter, and yeah.
I've seen her in a lot. She's always kind of like that actress in random movies from like the late 2000s. She was in the Friday the 13th remake.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but anyway.
Wow. A lot of stars are in horror films. I mean,
No, I know.
Yeah, we talked about it, I think, at
We
one
did.
point. But.
We did, and I'm just making a joke, really. But anyway, yeah. Oof. Not so much her character on Flash, but just her, the person. You know,
she's cute. I'm not gonna lie, she's cute.
Yeah.
She's not my type, but she's definitely got a lined face.
What I like about it, she seems fun. It's not so much like a physical attractiveness. Not that she's not, but she just seems to be like a fun person to be around. You know.
If we're talking about like the Arrowverse and the Berlanti stuff, I would rather hang out with Melissa Benoist.
Oh yeah. Oh, and Deb hates her so much.
But from everything I've heard about Kevin Smith about her,
I agree.
She's kind of like and this is not like an insult. She just kind of seems like the CW version of Jennifer Lawrence, just kind of like one of the boys, and like will eat a bunch of food and just not even care. And,
yeah. Not to go on a whole thing, but if I was going to pick one, really, it'd be Felicity. I don't know the character's name or the actress's name, but 100%. I'd go Felicity. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so right there with you, dude. I fucking love her.
Yeah. Felicity's awesome. I know you're not caught up. She's a little annoying in this season, but I think that's the writing. That's not her. Do you know what I mean? I think it's the way they're writing the character. But we'll see if that...
that could be it, but I've always been a fan of her.
I'm totally a fan.
She's not even... Like, she was originally, if I remember correctly, not a character in the comics of Green Arrow.
This is very much like Harley Quinn from the Batman the Animated Series, where they created her for the show, and it's now, from what I understand, she is canon in the comics. I think she has made her way to the comic books, but I don't read them, so I don't know, to be fair.
Right.
But speaking of creating a character and Batman and all that, Kevin and Mark it's the most recent released Fat Man on Batman, Fat Man Beyond, but it's from like a couple weeks back when they were at the Rio Theater in Vancouver, which we need to, when we get a chance, ask Matty Granger to, next time he's up there, he's got to go find him and just put our name in his ear or some shit. But anyway, that said, they were talking about some theories on the Infinity War, because there's been some new developments in the things that are coming out, and my initial thought was, holy shit. Did you listen to it?
I listened to it, but my problem is, whenever I listen to a podcast, whether it's ours or Fat and Beyond,
you're falling asleep.
It could be 11:30 in the morning or 11:30 at night, and it's just so relaxing. I just drift off, and then I wake up. It's always like another episode, I listened to it a couple of times, but I think I need a refresher.
Well, then you and I will listen. We can't put out on a recording for lots of legal reasons, I'm sure, and I'm not willing to risk those. But we will talk about what they have to say and comment on it as we listen behind the scenes. So the first thing they talk about is Bob Iger got on an investor's call. Bob Iger is the head of Disney Studios, for those who don't know. And he was asked, is Kevin Feige going to be running the rest of the Marvel that they've just acquired from Fox, which becomes official Jan 1 of 2019. So we're months away from Fox, or from the Marvel Universe basically coming together. And the response was, why would anyone else run this when he knows what he's doing? Essentially, that's not the words that they said. But, so, What do you think? Dude, Kevin Feige running X-Men, I'm down.
I'm 100% down. I do, like, we've talked about my confusion on how they're going to sort of wedge a whole race of mutants that have been around into it, but we've talked about it. It might be an alternate universe. It might be a global fucking thing.
Okay, so I had paused with Batman on Batman because our listeners don't listen to that. Gets addressed right next, so let's go into that and then we can pick it up.
Okay.
Okay, so for those who obviously can't hear this, and for those who want to follow us, listen to Fat Man Beyond episode 235 and start at the 44-minute mark. And that's where we are. So those who want to listen. Dude, Kev didn't say it for like the first time that I can remember, but I will say it for him. You're a writer, man, because Bernardin's on point, dude. Like,
but to be fair, I had said basically the same thing a couple episodes back, which was, or whatever the fuck it was. But I said because Steph had the same confusion, because we've already talked about this. Steph didn't know that the X-Men and the Avengers were supposed to be in the same fucking universe.
Right.
She knew it was all owned by Marvel, but she didn't know that Wolverine and Tony Stark hang out together.
Right. Well, and okay, so let's very quickly describe what we just listened to. So basically what Mark said was that, you know, everyone thinks that the post-snap solution will involve some form of time travel. Well, what if it's just basically DC's version, or Marvel's version of the DC multiverse? You know, what if there's this alternate universe, and it's, you know, to use Mark's words, he said the Fox universe. I'm sure they won't call it that, but just to delineate the two. And that's where the X-Men are, and the Fantastic Four, and potentially, you know, the Black Panther, and the people that we lost at the end of the first Infinity War movie, and that's how you bring them back, because there's this alternate universe.
Right. If I might be a little confused, but it almost implied that some of the characters that were snapped, like, you know, Black Panther, Spider-Man, they would be. I may be confused, but it almost implied that Bernardin said or implied that, like, all the characters that were snapped, Spider-Man, Black Panther, and whatnot, they would come back with mutant powers, or did I not follow that?
No. The way I took that was that because it's like a multiverse, they have their own version of Spider-Man and Black Panther and all them. So they don't necessarily have mutant powers. It's Spider-Man in a different universe. So, in this other multiverse, or whatever you want to call it, you know what I'm saying? So, but it would still be, but instead of it being like Miles Morales, which would be the logical way to go, it'll still be Tom Holland. It was just Tom Holland from that universe, as opposed to our universe where he's been snapped, or T'Challa where he's been, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's what Bernardin was saying, I think.
I think it's easy to go that route, but also at the end of Ant-Man the Wasp, they are talking about how there's another alternate-ish universe in there as well.
Did they say that?
That's a whole key thing.
I don't remember them saying that specifically. I'm not saying it didn't happen. I don't remember them talking. They talked about this other world in this subatomic world, but they don't talk about another, like, universe.
Well, it's a subatomic world, but there was a deleted scene where Michelle Pfeiffer and Paul Rudd.
I've heard of this. I need to watch that. Yeah.
And I don't know why it's deleted, because if it's integral to the plot, maybe they're saving it for the next movie. Like, maybe they'll smush that in Avengers 2 or something.
It could be an opening scene. No, it could be the opening scene of Avengers 2. Yeah, it's possible.
Well, except it's not going to be Michelle Pfeiffer, because it's just be Scott Lang by himself, because she got snapped.
Not if you, because
I'm saying they take that scene but rewrite it.
Well, they could, or they could do this scene as like a flashback. You could have a title card come up that says like 6 months ago or some shit, and it's the two of them talking, and then current day, or, you know, whatever.
But here's the thing. Marvel, especially Kevin Feige behind the reins, he oversees everything. Yeah. So he knew that scene was going to be put in. He knew that scene was written. He knew that scene was filmed. So he must have been like, we don't want to give them too much ammunition, and for them to theorize. Let's cut that, and then maybe borrow that scene for a later film. Because I agree. He fucking knows what he's doing. I said it many times. If he ran the whole fucking universe, Spider-Man, Avengers, Fox, all that shit, I'd be happy.
And it's getting there.
It's getting very close but there. Then we get to what I know. I remember a little bits and pieces of of the Fat Man Beyond episode, which is they talk about, well, what about Wolverine? Should
Right.
Hugh Jackman come back? And
And-
Hugh Jackman's always said if he were to ever come back, it would be
Yes.
for one or two things. If you team up with him in Deadpool
Or the Avengers.
or the Avengers.
Yep.
Now, to be fair, Logan is an amazing end to that character. Ending it the way it did is pivotal for that character.
Right.
Having X-23 take over, having Professor X die, having Wolverine die. But here's the good news, is that Logan is set in the future. So if you just take Hugh Jackman, make him younger, but pre-Logan. So Logan is still canon.
Right.
Essentially,
right.
what they're doing is they're making a prequel to Logan, but and then Logan is a sequel to the Avengers. You smush him in Avengers fucking 5 or whatever. You could maybe even put him in Deadpool, and then you could have him have him take over start taking care of Professor X, and then Logan would essentially start.
Right.
Him taking up a limo drive or something like that.
Or, yeah, and all that is plausible, and I'm not finding fault with any of it. But the other option is what Mark was just alluding to. If there's this multiverse thing, that Logan could have died in that multiverse. We've always had a Logan that we didn't know about. Do you know what I'm saying? That's also a possibility.
Yeah, but and that's fine. But if they're going to do that, then they really should try and stick to a little bit of canon and even take liberties and borrow from the Fox universe, which means take X-23, take the actress who played Logan's daughter, have her be this Marvel MCU Logan, have her be the Wolverine. Because I'd rather have that than a completely new actor that we have to kind of get along with and always compare him, and be like, oh, well, it's the dude from Kingsman. I'm not, he's okay. He's just not the greatest. Or Tom Hardy playing another fucking comic book role because he's the prominent choice. And I'm just like, I'm so fucking done with Tom Hardy.
Look, I'm not even going to comment on Tom Hardy. I'm just ignoring that. Not that I don't care about what you had to say, but there's no point in diving into that. As far as... Because I agree with you. Picking up another Logan is going to be very difficult to do for a long time. For the same reason, not that I'm going off on a tangent here, but the same reason why they shouldn't be making these Joker movies. Because to me, though I think it's been 10 years at this point, I don't think enough time has passed from Heath Ledger's Joker.
We're still recovering from Jared Leto's Joker.
Well, that should have never happened, but that's beside the point. The point is that, you don't have another Wolverine for a long time. You can do X-23, like you're talking about, so that way you have a Wolverine-esque character continue on. I'm perfectly fine with that. Or if you get, Lady Deathscythe, who's also a Logan-type character. Do you know what I'm saying?
Lady Deathstrike. Is that what you said?
I thought it was Deathscythe, but that's fine. I'm not here to debate that part. The point is she's a Wolverine-like character. You know what I mean? So you can do one of those two options to keep the Wolverine-esque character alive without having Logan per se. But I agree with you. If it's not Hugh Jackman, don't do it. But I think I want to see... Here's what I want to see. You're going to laugh at this because it is meant half humorously. I want to see Hugh Jackman standing next to Robert Downey Jr. and him to say something shitty to Logan and Logan flip out the middle finger blade at him. Like he did to Cyclops in I think it was the first or second X-Men movie.
First one.
Was the first one? Okay. I want that. I want that thing, and I want Logan standing next to Ryan Reynolds. I want that to happen. So if there's a way to make that happen without it looking too forced, then by all means, let it happen.
I agree. I would also like to have how I think they should start is have a lot of the lesser known characters, have Gambit show up.
Would you be okay with Channing Tatum play him? Because he hasn't been on screen yet. Well, there's that one, right, that briefly showed up in that really shitty Origins movie?
That was the dude who played John Carter.
And he
I
was
would
fine.
rather have him be. I'd rather have him be introduced in the MCU than for him to try and make his own standalone Fox thing.
Oh, that's fine. But I'm saying, who would you have play him?
I think Channing Tatum would be a fine choice. Personally, I mean, he's got the Southern accent. I mean, he'd have to learn how to do the Cajun accent pretty well.
Apparently, he's got it.
If I had a choice, I didn't mind Taylor, whatever the fuck his name is.
The guy from that movie, from the Origins movie.
The guy from Origins, yeah.
He was fine. I don't have an objection to that.
You know, honestly, I would pick someone up from True Blood. I would pick someone who, like, the guy plays the main vampire in True Blood, Bill, because he nails the accent really fucking good.
Okay, now I've never watched True Blood. I think I watched half an episode once, but that aside, and I'm not wanting to get into that right now, but is he age appropriate? Because I'm not familiar with who you're talking about.
He's not age appropriate, but if you really break it down, neither is Channing. I mean, Channing is I think late 30s, early 40s now.
Well, but compared to Wolverine, that works. Because when I think of that, I put him right next to Wolverine, because I always felt like those two characters worked in lockstep very much, and as a result,
I always thought of Gambit as late 20s, early 30s, personally.
Yeah, but
I mean, Channing on paper sounds like a great choice. He's got the physique, he's got the Southern drawl, he's got the star power. He kind of looks like him.
That's what I was going to say. He kind of looks like him a little bit. Because my visual for him, for that character of Gambit, and I don't know if it's the right one to think of, is the X-Men animated series from the 90s.
Right.
You know, that's the Gambit I think of. So I think Channing Tatum fits that really well.
Well, I mean, as long as they go... Here's the good thing. My whole thing is that, like I said, I want the lesser-known characters because...
Well, like Hugh Jackman. Is that what you're talking about, lesser-known actors or lesser-known characters?
Characters. I'm talking about characters. I want, Storm has been done so much. Wolverine has been done perfectly. We don't need a fucking oversaturated. We don't need another Cyclops. We don't need another Angel. Go for the low rent, go down the bar, because that's the great thing that MCU can do, is that they will take lesser-known characters, like lesser-known villains, and actually make them look pimp. I just want lesser-known characters, man. That's the great thing about Kevin Feige and the MCU, is they're taking lesser-known characters and making them pimp. Like,
right.
Vulture, on paper, is an old fucking man with sort of a feather suit. But they made him fucking amazing. They made him fucking awesome. And so I don't doubt they could take a low-budget, lesser-known character like Gambit, who is popular in his own way, but I'm talking like, I'm sure there's a fucking character named Cannonball. I don't know who the fuck they are, but fucking
there is one, actually.
See what I'm saying? Like, just take these lesser-known, low-rent, bottom-of-the-barrel characters, make them awesome.
And
give...
To Fox's credit, because we haven't gotten to it yet, but Bernard recommends basically blowing up the Fox universe, not the alternate one he's referring to, but the actual, like, wiping everybody out and starting fresh. And we'll play that for you in a minute. But I feel like the thing you're talking about, because I agree with you. I don't disagree with anything you just said. I agree 100% with all of it. But I feel like they did some of that in a positive way with Days of Future Past, when they were in the future defending that stronghold, I guess you would call it, they had while Logan was in the past. Do you know what I mean? Yes, you had some of the bigger name characters, but you did have some of the smaller ones too, like the girl that had all the portals. I don't know who that was. I don't even know the character's name. Like, I don't. But, you had her. What's that?
Shadowcat.
Okay, and then you had the character that they actually used to send back in time that would get, like, charged by, like, getting, like, I don't want to say shot, but do you know what I mean? I don't remember his name either.
Yeah.
It looked like Bishop, but I don't think it was Bishop.
It is Bishop.
Oh, is it Bishop? Okay.
Well, Yeah, see, Ellen Page was in X-Men 3 as the same character. That's why
Right.
they can bring her back.
Right, no, I'm not talking about Ellen Page. I'm talking about some of these other characters that were, like, defending while she was taking him back in time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, some of them they added, and I'm just, that's fine. They can reuse those characters because they're only in for one fucking movie.
Exactly.
But I'm not saying, yeah, you know.
No,
honestly,
Rico, I think
I'd
you
say-
think I'm arguing against your point. I'm not arguing against your point. I'm actually saying that you're making a good point and that they did a little bit of that in Future Past, and I would like to see more of it. The one main character that I feel like they've short shrift every time and really deserves a little more screen time and got some of it in Days of Future Past is Colossus. They've never done that right. I mean, okay, they kind of did it right in Deadpool, but not the way I wanted. I liked the one they had in Days of Future Past, but that's just me.
Well, he didn't do shit in Days of Future Past.
Because they didn't let him. That's my point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's not his fault. You know what I'm saying.
They're not going to do that. Yeah, but they're not going to do that because this new Colossus with Deadpool is too popular. And
well, yeah.
if I remember correctly, Fox or Disney said, we're going to keep Deadpool. Like, we're not going to fuck with that. Like, Deadpool's got his own thing.
Well, we talked about it on an episode that's coming out soon where, well, it will have been out by the time this aired, my fault. But I'll edit that out. But we talked about that when we talked about, I just lost my
Deadpool
point.
joined the MCU?
Yes, and the fact they're doing the PG-13 re-edit of Deadpool 2 and putting it out there. Like, they're already starting to, like, Disney / MCU this Deadpool, and that concerns the shit out of me. Like, I remember, I'm the one that edits. I went back and listened to it. I flipped the fuck out when we talked about it. You know?
As long as they do my suggestion, I'm fine. Like,
well, yes, but that's if they do your suggestion, and I'm not sure they're going to. But listen, let's let Mark talk some more because he actually gets into your theories here, and I think you might agree with him. So,
like if I
that point he made about like, okay, I don't want. I think they should go younger because the exact same reason I don't want to see Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones again.
right?
And I'm like, okay, if this was 10 years ago and they had just finished Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, I say make another one quick. But I gotta agree, you know, Indiana Jones is, even though they're making another one, and Indiana Jones is sort of a sacred character. It is Harrison Ford, and Harrison Ford is Indy. I don't want to see Chris Pratt. I don't want to see Bradley Cooper.
Right.
At the same time, I don't want to see it come back.
Between an Indy and a Wolverine. Wolverine is ageless. He's supposed to not age. I mean, he does, but he does at such a slow pace. He's going to be like 400 years old when he dies, essentially. I mean, I'm exaggerating to make a point, but you know what I'm saying. Like, he's supposed to be
already 150
or whatever. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Like, he's supposed to be
old.
I get Mark's point because Hugh Jackman, the actor, is not ageless. But with the de-aging thing that they can do now and how seamlessly they do it, and the Captain Marvel movie will be the biggest key of that because how well does Sam Jackson look through the whole movie de-aged? You know, like we've seen small chunks of it to this point with Kirk Douglas in Ant-Man and the Wasp and Michelle Pfeiffer in the same movie, and then, you know, Robert Downey. What?
I don't mean to correct you, but you said Kirk Douglas when you mean Michael Douglas because if Kirk Douglas,
Kirk's his father. You're right.
If they de-age Kirk Douglas, I'm like, that is fucking impressive.
Yeah, no, you're right. It was Michael. You're right. I'm sorry.
Michael Douglas the entire time in Ant-Man and the Wasp has been Kirk Douglas just de-aged. I believe it.
All right, you're right though. It's Michael. You're right, but at least I had the family right. Anyway, but you know when they de-age these characters, it's been brief moments, and they've worked. They've done really well with them. Cameo. But what's that?
It's a cameo with the same actors.
Right.
Really all it is.
Right. So the biggest test will be Sam Jackson's character, Nick Fury, in Captain Marvel, because it's the whole fucking movie, as far as I understand. So,
well, I don't know. We don't know how much Samuel Jackson's in it. It may just be. I mean, look, I agree it's going to be longer than the 5-minute scene or 2-minute scene. I would have to imagine that de-aging CGI shit is expensive, but I also think it may make it cheaper. But I don't know the budget of Captain Marvel.
Right.
But I also do know that.
My point is, you can de-age Wolverine. And it's a short scene, and it's longer than most of the other ones. But even that scene in Logan where he fights himself, that's a de-aged.
That's a good point. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
and he's in that a huge chunk.
It's like 10, 15 minutes, maybe. What'd you say? Maybe less.
In total, because they pepper him out towards the end in amount of chunk time. Yeah, it's about 10, 15 minutes. It's shit. I think Hannibal Lecter had fucking more screen time in the first Silence of the Lambs.
Right. So my point is that I think it's doable. And I think with a character who's ageless compared to an Indiana Jones who's not ageless, you know what I'm saying?
And I don't think they should de-age Harrison Ford.
I agree 1,000%. Like, I actually think they should cast somebody new, and it shouldn't be Indy. You can call it Indiana Jones, but it's a guy in the spirit of Indy, and it's not Indy. But that's, you know what I'm saying?
Whatever. I'd rather, honestly, if they're going to do it, if they're going to make another one, have Harrison Ford have him be the Han Solo of Episode 7, but Indiana Jones, have him be himself, and have his son, but not have fucking Shia LaBeouf. You know, then you could have it be fucking Indy the Third.
Right.
You know?
I agree. Henry Jones the Third instead of Henry Jones Jr. Yeah.
Have it be the same thing as Indiana Jones: The Last Crusade.
Exactly.
Have Harrison Ford be the Sean Connery role. Just the same thing, because that curse is just constantly going. I'd rather see that than a reboot or a reimagining or just old Indiana Jones just on a wheelchair fucking running away from a bullet.
Totally agree with all of that. Totally agree. And to the point of Wolverine, though, I think you can bring Hugh Jackman back. But I think your window
I'd rather have him back.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't... Look, 98% of the time I agree with Mark Bernardin because I think he's a fucking genius. But in this instance, I can't be further away from him on that.
In this instance, I'm the fucking writer.
You're a writer, man!
It's true.
Yeah. So, anyway, let's see what they had to say next. Okay, so the next part they're talking about is what do you do with the rest of the X-Men? And again, I gotta disagree with Mark on this because he's saying you basically shit can them all after Dark Phoenix and just recast. And I have to disagree with that because I like the casting they've done with these X-Men movies. These I guess, for lack of a better phrase, reboot that Fox did, where they took it back to the 60s, 70s, 80s, and whatever the next step is with Dark Phoenix. I like what they've done. I know Jennifer Lawrence doesn't want to do Mystique anymore, and that's fine. If she doesn't want to do it, then more power to you. But these other actors, and I like James McAvoy as Professor X. I was concerned about that when they announced it. Like, at first I was like, but he won me over. Like, I think he did a really good job. I think he's still doing a good job. And Fassbender as Magneto, look, I love Ian McKellen as an actor, but he destroyed that role. Like, Fassbender's so much better than Ian McKellen in that role. Like, I'm sorry.
So, he's younger. He's younger and more. Yeah, he can actually throw a punch, whereas Ian McKellen can't.
Yeah, and it's. I don't know, man.
Here's the thing. I agree that it's probably going to end with Dark Phoenix, as it should. Let that be the whole ending for that Fox thing. To be fair, as much as I bitch, I don't really want movies to fail. I want every movie that I want to see, that I have interest in seeing, be successful. I want them to be good. I wanted Venom to be good. I wanted Predator to be good. And I want Dark Phoenix to be good because the storyline is a great storyline. But they should end it. But here's the thing. I just looked up some information about the New Mutants movie that we did talk about. Now, how about this for a fucking theory? It's called the New Mutants because it is based on the New Mutants run-up, the lineup.
Right.
What if it's also that title because this is their introduction to mutants?
That'd be interesting.
So
That'd be a good way to do it.
You have your lesser-known X-Men characters, which is what I was just talking about.
Yep.
You have it. I mean, it's going to be coming out in 2019, is what they just said, according to Wikipedia. Because Wikipedia is always correct. But honestly, Wikipedia has never really failed me, to the most part. Like sometimes
for the most part, yeah.
Yeah,
it has its moments.
A fan page. Yeah. But I would almost rather have it be. So let's say Avengers 4 comes out and they introduce the mutants, they introduce Fantastic Four, they introduce this new expansion, right? Have the New Mutants be that spin-off of that expansion. And now the New Mutants are part of the canon. Because we haven't seen the actors in this new movie. We haven't seen fucking Wolfsbane or whatever the fuck their names are, all these new mutant characters. I'm so unaware of them.
I'm not versed either, so that's fine.
So you get your low-rent characters, you get mutants, and also it's just a fucking movie that it looks amazing compared to Dark Phoenix. Dark Phoenix looks very run-of-the-mill, generic. It looks like another fucking Apocalypse, is really what it looks like.
Well,
which, to be fair, Apocalypse wasn't a terrible film, but it was just not as good as Days of Future Past or X-Men 2.
No,
it was just X-Men The Last Stand.
Yeah, of this new cast, it's the worst of the new cast X-Men movies. But it's not. I think you did.
Phoenix?
What's that?
You're talking about like the Dark Phoenix, like the newer Jean Grey and Cyclops.
Yeah, of that cast of the things that we've seen so far, it's the worst of the movies. But that said, and you might have just said this, but we had a bit of a lag, so I don't know if you did, but I still think it's better than X-Men The Last Stand by a long shot, you know.
Yeah. I didn't hate Last Stand because I was like 15 when it came out, so it was fine. It wasn't amazing, but it was a million. I mean,
it's such a break
from. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
To steal from Kevin Smith, it was a million times better than Superman Returns. You know, like
I don't agree.
That was the whole. Oh, I 100% agree because Superman Returns was just a boring fucking movie. Whereas X-Men The Last Stand fit with the same mold. It had mutants. It had action. Yeah, it's got a bit of an incoherent plot, but at least it wasn't a fucking moody Superman. And you didn't have a fucking Lois Lane who didn't know when her kid was Superman's kid when he chucked the fucking piano.
Well, I think she figured it out by then, but that's a whole nother conversation. I don't know. I had a big problem with the breaking continuity, and there was a lot of that in that movie. And there were some positive sides to Apocalypse, like the Four Horsemen bringing Angel in, reintroducing Storm. I thought those were positives from that movie.
But here's the thing, Days of Future Past didn't fix everything.
No.
It did a good job, but I still have a huge fucking problem with the fact that in the Wolverine, where Wolverine goes to Japan,
which is a good movie.
I liked it. I love the whole concept of, and I was a big fan of. Was it Claremont who did it, or I think it was Miller. It was Frank Miller who did Wolverine go to Japan and get his ass handed to him by some fucking ninjas. That was a great storyline.
Yeah.
The movie itself is got some great moments, but there's a lot of like, whatever. But it ends with the adamantium claws being drilled out of his fucking hands.
Yeah,
and
I had a problem with that.
They replaced with the bone ones. And then in X-Men Days of Future Past, it doesn't explain how he got them back. If they just added a 30-second scene of Magneto saying, "Oh yeah, I like manipulate the metal," blah 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 blah.
I agree. I agree. There was that was a big hole that never got fixed. I agree. So
it was a big hole because in the future he's got the metal, and then when he goes back to the 70s, he doesn't have it because he didn't have. It's like, come on.
Well,
How do you
that
get the
makes
fucking metal
sense
back?
because he hadn't gone through the thing at
Because it was in the
Lake,
se-
whatever.
Yeah, it was
yet.
in the 70s. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I understand that, but then just have him not have it at all.
Right. So you were talking about with New Mutants about the release date, and that actually made me think about something that we should talk about, and we'll switch from Marvel to DC. They have pushed Wonder Woman 1984, or whatever they're calling it, back
That's it.
to June of 2020, as opposed to
Did they
next
really?
year.
I didn't
they
know
did.
that.
Yeah. There's something else coming out on the original release date that they felt like they were going to have to compete against, whereas now they have a weekend to themselves. And apparently it's the same weekend that the first one came out. I might have the wrong month, but it's in that same window of time, but it's the same weekend that the first one came out.
So it's DC competing with Marvel?
What's that?
Is it DC competing with Marvel?
No, I don't think it's to compete. I think it's to get a weekend to itself. There was something coming out on the...
Well, I wonder what's coming out around that time, around that original. It might be Captain Marvel.
I don't think so.
Well, I'll try and look it up and see what's coming out around that time.
Well, the original release date, but it got pushed back. But that also brings me to something you had wanted to talk about, which is something I hadn't heard about till you told me off air, and we'll talk about it again, is apparently Ewan McGregor's being cast as Black Mask.
Yeah, it's funny how I said the title Black Mask earlier. We're getting a Black Mask.
Right.
For those who don't know, Black Mask is a Batman villain who, it depends on the origin, but there are some stories where he's just a normal gangster. Sometimes he's American, meaning he's from Gotham. Sometimes he's British. And he either just wears this fucking symbolic black mask that looks like Red Skull, but with black.
You beat me to it. That's exactly what I was going to say. Because it looked, I mean, I didn't want to sound, I was probably going to sound racist the way I was going to put it, but it looks like a black-red mask, or Red Skull.
Yeah. I like that, Red Mask. Well,
Red
not to be confused with Red Hood or Red Robin, but yes.
Yeah.
And not to be confused with Green Arrow. There's always colors and names. It's a good thing Batman wasn't just known as Black Bat.
Yeah, right?
Or in some cases, Blue Bat, which is...
We had that conversation already, yeah, about ink and colors and stuff.
Yeah. All right, hold on. I was looking at...
The Wonder Woman thing?
Well, the Wonder Woman thing. So it was scheduled to be completed December 2018. Discussion with sequel, blah, 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 blah. Principal photography began June 2018. And it's supposed to be finished by December. It's scheduled to be released June 5th. All right, here we go. Let me look up release just to get it more. So yeah, as I'm looking this up, we'll talk more about Black Mask. So Ewan McGregor is Black Mask, and I'm fucking into it, dude.
I'm okay with it.
It's not the original person I would have gone for.
Who would you have gone for? Not that you're being wrong. I'm just curious.
Okay, if he's American, I actually would have gone John Hamm.
See, and I get that, but here's why. Because here's why you don't, right? So here's the thing, and this is something I didn't know until I just pulled it up. He's showing up as the villain, as Black Mask is, in the Birds of Prey movie. That's where he's going to be Black Mask.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things on on Batman that we were listening to, that we stopped listening to, is they talk about the Birds of Prey movie without mentioning Ewan McGregor and the Black Mask portion.
Because it hadn't been announced yet.
Probably. And they talk about, can you have this movie without Batman? And not a full, it's a Batman movie, but a cameo of some sort. And there's been a lot of talk about John Hamm being Batman. So I think you get Ewan McGregor. Wait, hear me out. I think you get Ewan McGregor as Black Mask because, it may not be announced. You're going to get, to use Kevin's words, Bat Ham.
The other choice I would have gone.
Sure.
So, because I said American. If it was British, honestly, I would have gone Jason Statham.
What about Henry Cavill?
I think that would confuse things a little too much if it was Superman.
You think
playing
so?
Black Man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Jason Statham. But honestly, in a perfect world, I would love Mark Strong, the guy who plays Sinestro in the Green Lantern movie. I'd go the guy from fucking Kingsman. From Kick-Ass.
Who was he?
Would be.
Who was he in Kingsman?
Merlin.
Oh, the butler guy, right? Or whatever.
No, he's the Q essentially, or he's the
Yeah.
He's
That's
the bald guy.
Yeah. He's also the
I'd go
villain
with-
in Sherlock Holmes, isn't he? The first one with
Yeah,
Robert. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, I mean, my first jump was Sinestro because he does have comic book roots. Not
Okay.
to mention,
Yeah.
he's done a lot of comic book movies. He would have in a perfect world killed it. But honestly, Ewan McGregor, I am all for. But that also kind of just confirms that the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie, which we already know was killed, just like the Boba Fett movie was killed, is definitely dead. Because now he's just like, I'm sticking to Warner Brothers. I'm done with Disney. You guys had your chance. Now I'm going to Warner Brothers.
You really think it's like that?
I think he wanted to do an Obi-Wan movie as much as we wanted him to do. I mean, maybe not you or maybe not me, but there was a lot of people that really wanted
There were, yeah.
It became a huge joke where it's like, men only want one thing and it's disgusting and it shows like an Obi-Wan Kenobi movie. There was even footage of him like at the gym with a beard working out and people were like, ooh, what the fuck does this mean? And I think it just means that he was like prepping just in case, because I'm positive it was in development.
I've seen him in a lot of interview things, and he tends to rock that beard. He likes the beard. So while I get that that's the Obi-Wan look from Revenge of the Sith, I think he just likes having a beard, personally.
I've seen him without a beard a lot. I mean, even when he's plugging movies and shit, like on Graham Norton, he's always got no beard.
I've seen him the other way.
Well, it's probably him. I mean, he does rock a beard for a lot of movies.
True.
And he's got the intensity. I haven't seen him be a full-blown villain in a very long time. But I really hope he does it. He does it British. I really want like an angry UK Black Mass, because
isn't he technically Irish? Though I think
Ewan McGregor. No, he's Scottish.
Yeah. Oh, is he Scottish? Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Rewatch Trainspotting. He's definitely Scottish.
Well, that could be an accent, but yeah.
No, it's hard to do that accent. Have you seen Trainspotting?
A long time ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't caught the sequel. I've heard it's good.
I heard it's good too. I can't watch it for reasons that I don't want to get into that you should be able to figure out. So
yeah. But yeah, he'll do.
I'm looking at this other cast for the movie, and I'm really kind of curious about this Birds of Prey movie. I don't know how it's going to go.
Well, the first thing is Harley Quinn is not a member of the Birds of Prey, so it really kind of feels like they're shoving her in. Because here, from what I understand, they're making a Suicide Squad 2.
They are.
They were. They're making a Joker standalone movie, which has nothing to do with it, with fucking Joaquin Phoenix.
Yep.
There allegedly is still in development a Joker Harley Quinn movie together.
Okay.
They're also making the Birds of Prey movie, which we discussed. Then they're also making Gotham City Sirens, which is Harley, Poison Ivy, and Catwoman. So essentially, really, Harley Quinn is the Tony Stark of the Batman Gotham movies now.
Well,
where they just kind of shove that one character to tie it all in. She's the night nurse of the Netflix shows.
Right? Do you think maybe they're shit canning the Sirens movie and just putting her in this instead?
It's probable. I think they're more likely we're probably going to shit can the Joker Harley movie.
Oh, I think that's already shit canned. Because they were going to do that with Jared Leto, and they're really pushing him to the background. Because the Jared Leto Joker movie's been canceled, too, from what I understand.
I didn't hear if that was canceled. That's probable, but I mean, look, to be fair, Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn was probably one of the greater things of Suicide Squad, and she's a great actress and blah, blah, blah.
I
Out
like
of the
Margot
movie
Robbie.
itself, she was one of the better things.
I liked Will Smith as Deadshot more.
I didn't say she was the only thing. I'm saying she was one of the better things.
No, I'm just telling you what I liked more.
Yeah, he was good. He was good.
I'm looking at this cast. There's not saying too much about it, but Mary Elizabeth Winstead is going to be Huntress, and Journey Smollett-Bowl is going to be Black Canary, who, as I understand it, and I only know this because of that Fat Man and Batman that we were talking about, she is African American. So they're actually having an African American play Black Canary, which I think is an interesting choice. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I think it's an interesting choice, though.
Yeah, I mean,
Mark makes a joke. Mark makes a joke about it where he said, "Hey, if you're gonna have a Black Canary, it might as well be a black chick." But that's him just being tongue in cheek, Mark Bernard.
Right.
So,
I'm looking at the DCEU right now just to see if there's Aquaman, Shazam, Birds of Prey is coming out allegedly before Wonder Woman 1984.
Well, everything is at this point because I got pushed back.
I mean, everything. Yeah, it's pretty fucking. Wow, they're really not holding back.
Nope.
The Flash is still to be announced.
They need to just cancel that shit.
Oh God, the only reason why I'd be happy to see a Flash movie is if they should have that be first, and then have that shake up everything. Have that
with
be
Flashpoint.
their days.
Yeah.
Although I'm not gonna lie, Aquaman looks better than I initially thought it was going to.
I agree. But as far as the Flash goes, unless it's Grant Gustin, I don't want to see it.
Okay, here's what it says about Birds of Prey. So, team roster will include Margot Robbie, Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Journey Smollett-Bell, Rosie Perez. That's an interesting fucking.
Yeah, but she's only playing a cop. She's not playing like a meta.
She's an important cop. She's an important cop in the Batman mythos.
True.
Montoya is pretty rampant.
Yeah.
If there's no Commissioner Gordon, there's Montoya. Right,
but my point is that she's not playing a meta.
Yeah. I think it's interesting to bring Huntress, as well as Black Canary.
It's an interesting choice. Yeah.
Well, they are the Birds of Prey, but it really should not be Harley Quinn leading it. It's like making, a Justice League movie and have the Joker lead it. It's just such a bizarre, because Harley Quinn is a fucking villain. She's not, the Birds of Prey are just the three women that are basically the Batman figures. I mean, because even they made a Birds of Prey show in like the early 2000s. Do you remember this?
No.
It only went on for like one season. I don't even know where the fuck to find it, but it's all about Catwoman and Batman's daughter having her own team, and how they do feature some stuff that is pretty canon with the storyline, like how Joker shoots Barbara Gordon, who becomes Oracle because she's paralyzed. So she kind of is like in a wheelchair and talking to them. And they even had a guy who looked a lot like, I mean, you didn't see him face on. There's a clip of it online, but it looks like the Joker from the comics. And then Mark Hamill supplied the voice for one scene where it's a flashback where he shoots Barbara Gordon. It's like, knock, knock, and then bang.
Right.
So I'd rather see a Birds of Prey movie as well as a Gotham City Sirens movie than The Flash, honestly. I don't know. It just seems interesting, but I also feel like they're oversaturating the Harley thing. Harley's a great character, but 2018, 2019, 2020 should not be another Harley film. Leave it alone. Let her still be liked and everything.
Right.
I don't know. It's just oversaturation of a character we don't necessarily need. I want to see a fucking Ben Affleck Batman movie. That's what I want to see.
You're not getting that. That ain't happening.
I don't know, man. I've been hearing shit like when he got out of rehab or when he's still in rehab or whatever, Warner Brothers executives came and visited him. And, you know, it may just be discussing the role. It may be like, hey, you're going to be cleaned up by the time we want to do this. I'd rather have the Batman than Batman Year One. I'm done with the old origin thing. And speaking of which, we're going to talk about that next fucking episode.
Right. Well, and it's interesting, and I'll give a quick teaser to that because we have not done and do need to do the Dark Knight trilogy, so we're going to do that. And I will say this: I think I like that we talk about not wanting another origin story. I got to tell you that the Batman Begins is the best origin story I've ever seen.
For Batman or best origin story, period? For
Batman.
Okay, I was going to be like, I don't know about that.
For Batman, but that's all I'm going to say, and we will talk about the rest of it later.
Well, to be fair, there are no other Batman origin stories, are there?
No, but... And that's kind of my point, and that's why I wanted to wait till next time. But right. Is that the death of his parents is covered ad nauseum, and this one didn't bother me. You know? So, we'll talk about it. I might even cut that part out. But
until then, stay tuned for another episode of PodAskew Podcast.
Same pod time, same pod channel.
Good night, everybody.
CJ here with a few thank yous and to let you know how you can get in touch with and follow the show and us. For PodAskew, go to iTunes, Stitcher, Apple Podcasts on your iPhone, and Google Play Music on your Android phone to listen to, subscribe, rate, and comment on the show, or the Listen Notes podcast search engine at www.listennotes.com. Go there, type in PodAskew, all one word, and you can stream us right there. If you want to agree with or yell at us directly, follow Rico, me, and the show on Twitter. The show is at PodAskew, Rico is at RantsRico, and I'm at M_Blade. If you need to contact the show for promotional reasons, tweet Stephanie at PodAskewPR. Check out Rico's YouTube channel, Rico's Rants, on YouTube at www.youtube.com/Rico's Rants. Thank you to Dubbed in English for our opening theme music, 96 Reasons. They're no longer online, but you can contact me for a copy of the full song or the whole Plan 9 EP. Thank you to Samuel Lemons for our closing music, Theme Askew. You can find his music on SoundCloud at www.soundcloud.com/Samuel-Lemons. Finally, our biggest thank you is to you, everyone, for listening. Rico and I really appreciate your time and look forward to bringing you another episode soon.
I'm Batman. Damn it! PodAskew. PodAskew.